Welcome to the latest episode of the Middle Eastern Tyrone podcast. I'm joined by a very, very special and dear friend of mine, emphasis on the special. A man affectionately known to me as Posh Paul, or to everybody else as Paul Roach or Roche. Welcome to the podcast, Paul. How's things?
Hello, Tilla. I'm good, thank you. I'm good. Thank you very much for that very polite introduction.
Well, I was going to say we're recording this before 9 p.m, so how to be wary of the 9 p.m. watershed, but it's past 9 p.m. But no, I suppose. How you been keeping? Have you been keeping safe during this COVID-19 pandemic?
Yes, I have. I kind of am pretty self-isolated anyway. I'm stuck up here in the middle of the Moy, and when I say stuck, I don't mean stuck up. That sounds like it's a bad thing, but I've been living here for enough time that I'm kind of isolated anyway. Although isolated in the sense that I am kind of isolated, but there's more people walking up this part of the world than ever before. Like I was isolated before, and now I feel like I can't walk outside my house, and somebody's walking within 2 meters of me. But anyway, no, everything's grand, and thanks be to God, all the family are good and everything else, and and they're still talking to me. My kids have they're hoping to lose the sense of smell and taste that you get from coronavirus because my cooking is awful. It's shite. Sorry, I'm allowed to say shite.
You can surely, yeah. Of course.
Okay. Well, that's what it's the name of one of my dogs actually, and so I kind of it is. Yeah, no, everything's great. Is that enough of an answer for you?
It'll do. That's a very good start. Usually, you ask a question on the podcast and people just go, "Yeah, I'm fine." So thanks for thanks for that. So obviously, you say your cooking's not great, but have you not been taking time during this lockdown period to try and improve those skills, or have you acquired any other new skills during this lockdown
Well,
period?
Sorry, but I have done a few things, right? I've learned how to make pizza dough. I learned after. Well, actually, I the time for a story. Well, I'll tell you a small story, right? So I decided I was going to make pizza one night for the kids, and I found some pastry in the freezer. And I just thought, sure, I'll make pastry. You can just make pizzas out of it. So anyway, long story short, the pizza smelled fantastic, but I'd used a short crust pastry. And I don't know whether you've ever had pizza made in short crust. It's not a great thing to do. And then not only that, the kids asked, Daddy, it was another weird thing. See, living in Northern Ireland, at home I'd be called Dad. I call my dad Dad.
Yes.
So when I'm called Daddy here, it seems weird to me. Anyway, so Daddy, what's the date on that pastry use? So I looked right, and it started with a 2, which is good.
Yes, good start.
And there was a 0, and it was 2014. It was fucking grand. Like it was grand. Like it was.
Frozen.
It was slightly frozen. It was it was grand, and well, obviously, it wasn't raw the whole time before I cooked it. It had been frozen. I had defrosted it, obviously.
Yes.
But basically, anyway. But that's so cooking grand. The other thing is from the other thing I actually, and I haven't told you this even pre-recording. I'm studying to be a celebrant, a wedding and funeral celebrant. I never did. I left school when I was just turned 17, so I never went to any education, any what do you call those things, a college.
Yes.
I never went to any university things at all. But I decided a while back I want to be a celebrant. So weirdly enough, the one thing I have done in this period, I've started studying to be a celebrant. So I can do weddings and funerals near you. Paul Roach can do.
And can you please explain to me, because I don't know, what is the role of a celebrant?
Well, it's kind of like a priest with no clothes, no clothes on. A priest with no collar on. It's basically is somebody it's a humanist kind of thing. So you can't. It's basically the person. It's like a priest who does it, or I don't know what I don't. In your faith, I don't know who marries people in your faith, but like a priest or a vicar who runs a ceremony. Basically, I'm a lay person Not yet. Obviously, if I qualify, because I mightn't
Yeah.
qualify, I might not get that extra qualification in my life. I could be the person who marries you, or buries you, or names your child, or other things. I don't know what the other things are yet. I haven't got to that. I
Oh,
haven't got to that stage in
so,
the course yet.
so whenever what you're saying is whenever the world sort of returns half back to normality, you'll be fit to christen my child.
But I can't call it Christian. I have to call it name because Christian implies that it's a religious thing. I can name them. It's kind of like a bottle of champagne across the head. Actually, I can just go. I named this child.
You know what? That
I
sounds a
never
hell.
explain it. You never explain it.
That sounds a hell of a lot better than a normal Kristen, to be honest. So you've definitely got your first customer. So you have a few weeks yet. Um, I'm trying to think.
I'm very expensive though.
That's no problem. Mates rates, is that what they call it? That's why I give you a really good intro there.
Thank you.
No, new skills and the new skills I've acquired have been changing nappies, um, learning how to feed a child with a bottle. Um, yeah, so they're my two skills that
And are you
hopefully.
doing that to yourself now? You're not changing your own nappies yet, are
I
you?
well, oh yeah, I can change my own nappies. It requires a very large mirror, that I have to lay on the ground and stand over. And
Not a picture I want to actually have. That's
yeah,
funny. Oh God, that's a memory they can't lose forever. That's I can never get that out of my mind. Terrible.
yeah, and it's like the Jackson 5 staring back up at me. But yeah, so yeah, they're my new skills, Paul. But you mentioned in your first answer you've seen all these new walkers and and people like that. I have noticed the exact same. I have noticed people on my road that I have never seen before ever in my life. I've been living out where I live now. I know about 8 years maybe, thinking around that. And there's people I have never seen before in my life on bikes that are older than time. So they've obviously the boredom's got to them, and they've actually just oiled the rusty chain, and they're out on the bikes. It's mental.
In fairness, though, they probably don't know you live out there, so that's you can understand. It'll stop after a while once they realise that's where you live. That will probably stop. I think it's a bit. It's like prohibition. It's like they've said you're only allowed to exercise for 1 hour a day. So there are people who haven't lifted their arse off their couch to fart in years who are now going, I am going to fucking walk 1 hour and 5 minutes and I'm going to walk up that lane. I don't mind only it's the poo. Like I had to I this is a bit anal now. I sometimes walk the lane with a plastic bag and a big long what do you call those? Pick one of those things to pick up rubbish.
Yes.
So I pick up the rubbish along the lane, right? And I reached into the hedge, and there was a bag inside there. And either somebody walked an elephant up the road, or a lot of people knew it as a communal jacks. There was a bag of well, I can only presume it was what I think it was, but it looked like an elephant that come up and they used it. It was like an industrial bag, and they go right. Sit down there, Mr. Elephant. I don't know what a good name for an elephant is, but anyway, sit down, elephant, and just poo in it, and then hang. They must have pulled a muscle in their arm to try and hang it that bag in the ditch. Anyway, I got it and I brought it home.
Nice. But yeah,
Lovely.
but you see, all these new people exercising, I don't know about you, like, but obviously being at home, whenever I'm not tending to the child, I'm on social media, and every other person is now posting up their workout. I've done this today, aren't I great? And it leads me on to the next thing I want to talk about is the, and you know what? Fair play to them, right? These people who lose loads of weight, get themselves into fantastic shape, and I'm not having to go at them per se because what they've done is fantastic, and I have tried to do that, and I can do it for so long then I fail.
I can
But
see that. I can see that. Yeah.
and but so fair play, but it's the constant reminders that they keep posting up every hour, every hour of every day. I used to be 24 stone, now I'm 10 stone. Now, I would love somebody who is about 14 stone to go the opposite way. I would love somebody to have on their Facebook post, um, this is me 2 years ago, 14 stone with a six pack. Now I'm 23 stone. Now that's a story I want to read and how they actually got there. I want them to tell me that I sat that their dad was McDonald's for breakfast, KFC for lunch, 6 buckets of ice cream in between. Now that's more interesting than somebody who's eating leaves off a hedge and telling everybody they're vegan. For
Right.
me,
Yeah, and well, yeah, I think you're right. Though I think that'd be fantastic. That'd be motivating for me, actually.
wasn't
Uh,
it?
you haven't groomed your anywhere in all that time, and you've now, and basically you don't mind that your roots are showing. In fact, it's been so long. Not only your roots are showing, but your branches are showing, and basically, and your eyebrows are as bushy as they were born to be. And like all those people whose eyebrows were born, they were one piece of hair across the whole face, right? It's
Yes,
miraculous that they just come back, and people kind of and people, they actually go, do you know what? See all those clothes that I put in the charity bag and haven't brought to the charity bank yet. I'm going to go get them back out, right? I'm going to wear them. And maternity clothes, like men in maternity clothes now, could be a brand new fashion. Like you could be wearing Claire's stuff
exactly.
around the place, and it could be quite okay. It could be kind of
Yep.
seen as it could be, and it could be. And you know what? You could get away with it. And you have the legs for it anyway to wear that kind of stuff anyway.
Yeah, I definitely, most definitely have the legs for it. Also have the bust for it too. Um, so yeah, I think I would totally rock maternity wear. Because who says maternity wear has to
But
be
here's the
exclusive?
thing, right? For you,
What are you
sorry,
saying?
go
Sorry?
ahead.
Who's to say that maternity wear has to be exclusive for women? This is the 21st century, 2020, the year of equality.
You are dead right. You are dead right. That's absolutely right. Because in fairness, right, like I found when I became a father, I found it quite stressful. I put on quite a lot of weight, and I wasn't allowed to wear clothing that covered up my bumps and my humps and bumps, and I had to, and nobody complimented me when I lost all the weight afterwards. That's true. That's terribly sexist.
For
Here, are
me,
you doing many Zoom things now? Are you doing Zoom conferences? Is this like I'm doing them? I used to do them all the fucking time, right?
yeah.
Like I do them all the time, right? But now they're being used for everything. I was on a wine tasting one there on Friday night,
How does
and
how
I
does
know
that
it's
work?
hard there. For the listeners, I can look at Talal's face, and when I said I was on a wine tasting course, his face went kind of, that screwed up kind of, you know what? Yeah, I was.
Yeah, exactly. It is like, to be fair, Zoom. There was the only thing we ever done. What I did was that house party. Do you remember there was a house party app everybody had on their phone, and then somebody leaked that they hacked your bank account. But Zoom actually put, or not Zoom, house
But the
party
Zoom thing
actually.
is the house party. But the Zoom thing is grand. Like I've been doing it for years, right? And we like I've been doing audio conferences for years. When I used to work in M.E.A.T back in the, well, first no problem. They had they did a survey of people who used audio conferences, right? This was just kind of getting a meeting together, and like 10% of people admitted that they did those conference calls with no clothes on, right? So it immediately, and we went, oh my God, this is terrible. So immediately you went through this whole thing of when you were looking at who's going to be on the conference call, you went, oh my God, oh Jesus. So every conference call for about a year after that, I would say, can we just get anybody who's had to rush this meeting? You can take 2 minutes, just go and put something on you, please, because I struggle with the idea that you might be like that. And what's happening with Zoom is that like we have, like our company in America, there's 140 people there who usually work in an office are now working from home,
Yeah,
and we're having meetings once a week when we're all on the same, and then during the week we're having these other meetings. But some of the stuff in the background, you really like. I've been doing it for so long, I'm kind of used to. I know what's in the background in most people's rooms, but some people are in their bedrooms, and some people are not well clothed at all. Like there was a guy the other day I was on a call with, and he didn't have his camera on, right? And it was a pretty senior, obviously because I was in it. It was an important meeting, and he and it wasn't really. But anyway, the camera came on, and he was wearing an apron, and I'm going, hold on, you're wearing an apron. So he obviously wasn't really working at home. And this is the other thing. All the people who are working from home, are they actually working from home, or are they just making pizza? I just said that. They're just making pizza dough with their children. I think I just gave myself away there, actually.
Yeah. But that was at the weekend. You were making pizza dough. But no.
Oh yeah, sorry. Yeah, you're right. Thanks. Yes, you're right. Yeah, that was the weekend. Thanks to that.
The reason I don't really like these Zoom things or video conferencing is because because you know me personally, that when I talk, I'm very movie with my hands. I also talk with a lot of facial expressions. So, for example, if I was in a meeting and somebody said something that I was like I would roll my eyes, I'd be like, "Fuck, what's this prick on about here?" And then I would totally forget that it was being recorded. Like, I don't want to give away too many details here because could get in trouble. But sure, what's life with no risk? I'm just gonna say it was a meeting, and over the lockdown period, and we all had to join up to this meeting. Pretty important meeting. We were getting details about stuff, and one guy didn't have his camera on. Or sorry, one guy thought he didn't have his camera on because it was nobody else had theirs on, but he had his. He didn't. He forgot that he had his on, and you could just see him mouthing to his wife beside him, and he was sitting saying, "Would this prick ever shut up?" Yeah. So in that case, that's another reason why.
And he was obviously talking about you, was he?
No, he wasn't talking about me. Thank God.
Because after that, after you just announcing it, it's bound to be you.
No, it wasn't me. So no doubt I'm gonna get in trouble again for this podcast, but sure, what odds? Any publicity is good publicity, isn't that what they say? But yeah, as like Zoom and stuff like that, it is good. Like, for example, especially my own mother who hasn't got to see my child. Really, it's good to video call her, but she wouldn't be the most technological. So it's basically all you see is the ceiling of her house. Because she doesn't know what way to hold the laptop or hold the iPad. So it's either you either see upper nostrils or the ceiling of the house. So, but I think, she's learning. But God love her because she's working for the NHS and she hasn't really got around to see the baby yet. So hopefully in the next couple of weeks she'll be able to. But
good for her. Yeah, she's working the NHS well. Just a shout out to your mum. Then that's fantastic. And it must be such a disappointment for her that she's working for the NHS and she's got a son like you.
I know people actually stand out at 8:00. It's a clap for her. It's a commiserations clap. Yeah. They were doing that
before the coronavirus. But that's here's to last month.
Yeah. But yeah, so no, it is hard on her. It's hard on me too. But look, people are in worse situations than I am, because single people especially, like, especially young-blooded males and females, who maybe were enjoying the pleasures of the likes of
enjoying all that stuff,
Tinder and Grindr and whatever the hell all these young ones use, It must be really hard. And also a shout out to those, the young lads who their parents don't know they smoke. They must be absolutely choking. They must be absolutely choking for a fag. The ones that live out in the countryside with no access to a shop.
They're smoking hay, and I haven't even started growing it. And it's a weird thing though. As you know, I take the occasionals. I used when I'm doing a show that I have a cigarette during the show, and I normally give up. And I actually, when this kicked in, because the show finished not that long ago, right? Yeah. And it's around stopping, right? And then I went. It then came down to the essentials list of essential shopping only, right? Yeah. So I said, bugger it, that's not essential. Now, So I stopped buying cigarettes, and by default stopped smoking them. I'm joking.
Yeah.
So but it's funny, it doesn't apply to drink though. I can still I still that's an essential purchase.
Yeah.
Um, but I did when I talked to so obviously I've got four children, right? I'm not going to mention them or name them, I guess, but they can't they can't see their partners. Neither can I, right?
Yeah.
So it is kind of it made me think the same thing about how do you what what are the rules and all that kind of stuff,
Yeah.
and we talked I did a bit of research in this. I did actually look at it, and I googled what is the safe what's this what is the and it turns out actually that you actually can perform the act so long as you don't kiss, uh, and you're 6 feet away. So I'm grand with that. It's perfect distance for me, and it's better. It's
Very
better.
good.
It's probably safer for everybody else. And then, but there was one thing I did read, and it was a response to somebody. I believe it or not, I did Google it, and apparently it is some of the when you Google tracks what people Google a lot, right? And one of them is can you have intimacy or sex during this period? And one of its guidance and you can do that by yourself. It can be a great opportunity to explore other ways of engaging with new sexual partners that you can meet online by sexting or using video calls without the chances of catching a disease of any sort at all. So suddenly, obviously, if I'm ever doing them, I always put a condom on my phone before I engage in that kind of stuff.
Yeah, well, my laptop's on the contraceptive pill, so it's fine. And it's also got an antivirus software, so the corona did not catch the coronavirus. I hope not. But,
mine's on Viagra. Mine's on Viagra, so I can stand up and use it.
That's got a strong connection. Have you any plans?
Sorry, go ahead.
Have you any plans?
I keep on jumping in.
You're grand. Have you any plans for when the lockdown ends? What's the first thing you're going to do? Is there, are you going to go for a meal? You're going to go to, obviously you're like myself, enjoy the odd drink in a bar. Obviously you're a big rugby fan as well. I'm sure you've actually missed the rugby because the Six Nations got cut short. Is that true? It did get cut short.
Yeah, they did. Yeah, we did. Yeah, we did. But it got completely cut short, and we ended up with missing a number of matches. So it's in suspension at the moment, and we kind of did it a bit early. The Republic kind of did it a bit earlier than anybody else, but it's probably the right thing to do. I think that for me, it's kind of what'll I enjoy when it comes back. I've had this other discussion, which was about imagine if it doesn't come back, right? So imagine if in 20 years' time, we just stay as we are now, right?
Yeah.
So in 20 years' time, and I saw people putting up that thing on the internet going, oh, people would forget what this is like, right? But imagine if we got to a point where we go, this is the normal life. So we say to our grandchildren, or you say to Maddie, you say to Maddie, geez, Maddie, just before you were born, right? People used to do this thing when they met, they would shake hands, they'd actually touch hands together, right? And people used to go to places called restaurants, right? And some person behind a wall would cook food, right? And they'd bring it out on a plate that wasn't one of your plates, right?
Yeah.
And a stranger would hand you the food, right? And there'd be people sitting within 2 meters of you, right? And you'd use cutlery that wasn't yours. And you used to go to school with actually other people, right? And you used to travel on things that you flew in the air and sit beside each other. And then when you dated, you actually kissed before you got married.
Yeah. And you could sit beside each other at the cinema. Things like that. It is.
What's a cinema? What's a cinema? A cinema was like it was like a big television screen.
Yeah.
That in somebody else's house.
The way I describe the cinema to Maddie is I'd be like, Well, it's slightly smaller than Paul Roach's living room. That's what cinema room's like. It's slightly smaller than Paul
And that's
Roach's
where
living
you
room.
go. And then, have you been stopped by the police? Have you been stopped? Have you been stopped by the police yet?
Paul, I am a dodgy looking guy in a drug dealer's car. I get stopped all the time, Paul. So you know, but yes, I actually have been stopped by the police.
Funny, I have. Funny, funny, I haven't been. Um,
White privilege,
but
white privilege.
yeah, I wanted to ask you a question, by the way. So here's the thing, right? As you know, as well, I don't know whether you. I'm obviously not from around here, anyway. A bit like yourself, and I was trying to. I don't know if people know that, but anyway, I was trying to work out where East Tyrone actually is. Obviously, I know it's here, right? But like,
Yeah.
I kind of just go, it's Northern Ireland, right? And it's Tyrone. I know that, but like,
Yeah.
is there a point? Is there a specific place where people go? That's east, that's west, and over that line there it is. Are there Westerners and Easterners? I
My
don't know.
my
Or do you
geography
know?
my geography skills are horrific. I just know that the likes of Dungannon and stuff is East
I
Tyrone.
know.
That's all I know. I don't know nothing else. Whether
Okay.
North of Tyrone or South West. Um, I so look, Austin. I haven't a clue. That's my honest answer.
Maybe we should people maybe text in. We could text in your answers to the following number.
let's get Aidan O'Neill's number up here. But yeah, so it's
Yes,
been
exactly. That's a good one.
um
He'd probably know the answer. Actually,
he
we should
he
we could ring him and ask him what the answer
ring him in.
is.
Hi, Aidan, welcome to the Who Wants to Be a Millionaire. Paul Roach's going to ask you a question here. But yeah,
Yeah, exactly. You've got 30 seconds.
which I would be the worst person to ring. Imagine ringing me if you're on Who Wants to Be a Millionaire. You're on the 250 grand question. You ask me the question, right, Tal? Need you to answer. What is the meaning of whatever? Sorry, is that a bad line? No, no, no. Just stuttering. So that'd be so. If you're ever on Who Wants to Be a Millionaire, Paul, don't give me a call unless you've won loads of money and you want to share the wealth.
Well, I would. No, look how they ended Talal in real terms. Like, we at least we get 250 quid every time it was on Who's Been Framed. Or
And think,
yeah,
think of the money we would earn on because it would go completely viral. It would go viral on YouTube.
yeah,
Um,
it would. It would.
yeah.
Yeah.
Paul, Paul, when do you think when do you think it's going to end on this COVID-19? When do you think it's going to end, and how do you think it's going to end? Like, is it going to be, are we going to phase things back, or is it just going to be lockdown until everybody's clear, or what? You're a man of the world, Paul.
Well, it's funny you say it. Like a friend of mine in America, she did actually say that she hopes it's going to be phased back. Right? She wants, hairdressers first, nail salon second. She wants clothes shop next because there's no fucking way going into the office looking like this, because and we're all going to end up with like there'll be people going to buy new clothes, right? But they'll be buying bigger clothes, and fitness instructors who've been without any work for the last while, except for their video stuff, they're going to go happy days. Loads of fat people and or unfit people, I should say. Sorry to Lal. And sorry, I did. Sorry, there was a word association. Sorry, I apologize for that.
No, it's just that
Yeah,
the camera adds £10, Paul, and there's about 4 or 5 on me here, so it's fine. So it's fine.
Yeah, okay, that's good. No, and in fairness, I'm only seeing your head. So no, so I think it's going to be a gradual. Like, there is a certain amount of we will get back, and it's going to be slow, and it's going to be like the biggest question is when we can have a party. Like, so I, as you know, I've got 4 kids, and we like a party in this house, and we were sitting down today and we're saying, God, when could we just have a party? Like, and the idea of like a 15-year-old an 18-year-old, two 20-year-olds, and a 54 and a half or maybe 55-year-old actually having one party when all we welcome, they were going, yes, let's just have them all, everybody together, right? With my soundtrack. I go,
Yeah.
they have gone mad. Obviously, they've gone mad. So yeah, and I think it'll be gradual. I think it'll be a party, and I hope the hell it happens before the end of summer, which is
Yeah.
for those of us listening internationally, those people listening to summer in Ireland it's a bit between the hot day on the Monday and the cold day on the Thursday.
Yeah. So hopefully, but yeah, though I have noticed that the lockdown it does make you appreciate things a wee bit more. And I'm not on about family and friends because you obviously appreciate them all the time, but see the simple things like going for a coffee or the absolute luxury of going for a pint somewhere, and
Yeah,
it's wee things that got are annoying me more than, for example, saying like I usually go on holiday every year. Like, going on holiday is something that I don't care about. It's the wee small things that are starting to annoy me more than anything. As I say, like I love going to brew for a coffee or chapter
yeah.
five for a meal. It's the small things that are annoying me more than the big things. So hopefully, as you say, if they take us phasing in, but well, I'm not too
I've been
back to
having
work.
dreams. I've actually been having dreams of pints of Guinnesses, a pint of Guinness and a Big Mac, actually, which sounds like I'm not. Like, I know that's high quality, but like a Big Mac because it's prohibited, right?
Yes.
And I always felt like when I had a Big Mac, I needed to go to confession afterwards, which, well, I'm sure you know what that means.
Yes,
It
yes.
just like it was kind of like having a Big Mac felt the same as drink driving years ago. Like like it's just such a big sin, right? And
Yeah.
drive through made it even worse. When they made a drive through Big Mac, you went, oh Jesus Christ! It's like so. And there are wine shops in the south now who are doing drive through wine pickups, and you go,
Yeah.
oh, that's a great idea.
Yeah.
We should all have them actually. So anyway, so yeah, no, we so basically a pint of Guinness and a Big Mac
I
in that
want.
order.
I just want a brew coffee because I know they are opening for takeaway, but I want to sit down and enjoy it, have my coffee, and go for a nice steak, and that's the two things I want to go for. And but I also hope it because hopefully we can do our show again, Paul. Stop interrupting. Hopefully we'll be fit,
Right,
we'll be fit to run it at some stage because I think it'd be the best
right.
time to do it because everybody's going to be once everybody sort of gets back to work and obviously people are going to be financially struggling for a while, but once hopefully around November December it'll start to pick up. If there isn't a relapse, pray to
That's
God
a
there's not.
that's a great idea, and the good thing about that is that we won't have to learn any more lines because we were both crap at doing that anyway. The only problem is we might have to get your wig extended so it fits your fat head, and
That can be done. That can be done. That can be done. And
and
we
your
also
dressing gown, your dressing gown's already bursting out of it, like you know.
yeah, and we might have to use a real gun instead of a fake gun to shoot you, Paul. So
At least you might shoot at the right fucking time this time.
I know how that was. Whoa! But here, as I said, the last one we got through it, Paul, and it was good.
We did.
But yeah,
We did.
so hopefully this podcast is still going by then. Hopefully, I can keep it going because I'm really enjoying it,
Please
and
do.
it's been really good to have you on, Paul. I know I actually we
Thanks
talked
very
about it
much.
months ago, and now that I've discovered how to get people on via Zoom, you're one of the first. Well, I was going to say one of the first people I thought of. Everybody else that asked said no, so I was there for you, Paul. So
You
no,
know,
I'm
so
only
now,
joking.
ever since I met you, I always thought you were a wanker, and now it's been proven. But like very few people are prepared to say it on your podcast.
See, that's why I have you on, Paul. You're honest, and that's what I like about you. But no, thanks very much for being on, Paul. Really much, or very much appreciated. Hope you and your family stay safe for the rest of this pandemic or lockdown, as we would call it. And hopefully in the
Yeah,
near future, we'll be able to share a pint and call each other names. in a bar,
Please
an
God,
establishment.
yeah,
So
please,
yeah,
please God, please God, or whoever else is involved, and it is. I can now wish it back to you because beforehand you didn't have a family.
no,
You didn't have a bigger family. You had a family. Yeah,
yes,
so now you're a unit there going on,
yeah,
and God bless you all. And I can't wait to see the baby
yes,
myself because I love fresh babies because they just are just fantastic. So
yeah, they're
so
class.
hopefully soon.
Yeah, so I think that's going to do us for this week's episode, folks. And Paul, thanks for being on, and hopefully have you on again sometime soon. So yeah, see us all later, folks. Chat soon. Bye bye.
All right, bye.